Welcome back to another Dazzle video. Today we're going to be going over hotkeys, options, and some of the settings that I believe are really important when I play Dazzle. The first one we're going to talk about is quickcast. I believe Dazzle is best suited for playing on quickcast, both items and abilities. The first reason why quickcast is better is just the fact that you can grave people really fast. A lot of times you're going to have to react super quickly, and being able to just press one button instead of one button and clicking might be the difference between actually getting the grave off and not getting the grave off. The second thing is a lot of times you're going to be using the different spells on the same target. Generally speaking, it's going to be W and E. So you're going to be casting W and casting E on the same target. And lastly, it's going to be the combos. So in the late game, you're going to have a lot of different buttons to press. Okay, you're going to have to press everything off of cooldown, and your cooldowns are very, very short, probably under 3 seconds, and you have 4 spells. So at any given time, there's always going to be a spell that you can cast. And it makes it very challenging compared to other heroes when you have to have that extra step of actually clicking, left clicking every time you want to cast something. So you're going to be able to cast your combos much more frequently. You're going to be able to cast just more spells, more items, and overall, quick cast is going to increase your effectiveness in team fights by quite a bit. The next two things I'm going to talk about were fundamentally crucial in helping me increase my rank from Archon all the way up to Divine. The first part is this section right here. Voice chat, chat wheel, and chat wheel. All of these, I have them turned off. The only reason I have chat to everyone is because at the end of the game, I GG. The only reason I have chat to team as anything is because of this factor right here. So when I click enter to chat, I don't actually ever chat to my team. I always just use it to check what happened in the game. So who took the wisdom rune, who killed who took the tower, who got which rune, who bought back, things like that, who took Aegis, things like that. I will check with my chat button, but otherwise I do not chat with anybody. I'm telling you, this is fundamentally important. You want to reduce the number of distractions in your games as much as possible. There are millions of things that you should be doing at any given time to get better at the game and to win each game. So keep your focus on the game. And in order to do that, I make sure I don't have any hotkeys for any of these things here. Going along with that, I also play on a specific audio. I mute all the music, I mute all the voice, and I mute all the unit speech. Now, I do love and I feel really nostalgic when I hear Dazzle's chat lines. However, it has nothing to do with the effectiveness of my play. So if you're somebody that wants to rank up, I would highly recommend you turn these off. The only reason I have game sounds on is because there are certain audio cues in the game, such as you hear PA hitting creeps even while she's blurred, you hear Hoodwink's ult going off, you hear Primal Beast charging in, you hear people activating runes, things like that. What helped me the most in ranking up was I played on completely all mute, so I had no sound at all. And what that helped me do was increase my awareness of the minimap, increase my focus on what was actually happening visually on the screen, and that really helped me get better as a player. Of course, if you are trying to get the most out of the fun of Dota, I think the music is great. I think all the voice lines are great. I think the unit speech is super well done. I would recommend that you keep those settings on. However, if your goal is to be better and to win each game, then I would recommend just keeping the game sound and muting everything else. In terms of the advanced hotkeys, I want to highlight a few things here. Number one is upgrading talents. So Dazzle has very, very impactful talents. Talents that can have a huge impact in any team fight that you're in. So being able to upgrade them instantly, so I have it on T, so I press T and then I'll press 1 or 2 if I want the left talent or the right talent. So I'll press T1 and it's instantly upgraded, or T2 and it's instantly upgraded. Dazzle's talents, all of them except for one, have big implications on any team fight. All of them except for plus 1.75 mana regen. So that being said, the level 60 Poison Touch DPS talent, which I highly recommend you take over the right talent, and the plus 40% Poison Touch slow, both take into effect immediately as you level them up. So Poison Touch without any of the talents does around 77 damage per second. But I'm going to level all these up, and you're going to see right away that it shoots up by around 50-60 damage. So even after you've cast the Poison Touch, you can immediately get value out of the talents if you level them up as quick as possible. So that is why in a team fight you want to have a hotkey that you can quickly scroll through, because of course you're going to be focused on pressing all these buttons. So you don't want to have to come down here and have to click through each of your talents to upgrade them. You want it to be as seamless as possible. All right, let's talk about saved camera positions. It does not matter if this is camera 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, or 10. I just have it at 5 or 6, but you could have it anywhere else. What this is useful for is checking the other lanes. It's a good habit as a Dazzle to be able to check how mid is doing and how your off lane is doing if you're playing safe lane Dazzle. If you're playing the other lanes, just check the lanes that you're not in. So if I'm playing safe lane Dazzle up here and I want to check mid, all I have to do is I'm doing my thing, and then I just click one button, check it, and then I'll just select my hero, I'll double tap F1, and then I'll come back to my hero. So I can check very quickly on how my mid is doing and also my off lane. And I have it set to my 2 mouse buttons right on the side here, but you can set it to whatever button you want. Let's talk about options. The first option I want to talk about is that teleport requires hold stop. I highly recommend that you keep this box checked. What you're going to be able to do with that box checked is be able to TP in to a lane and just be spamming your shallow grave on the target without worrying about if the TP is going to get canceled. In terms of camera, I want to talk about 2 things. First one is to deselect this center camera on hero on respawn. So this is the setting where every time you respawn, the camera immediately jumps to you in the fountain. I find this extremely unuseful because my focus is on what is happening in the actual game, not myself. There's nothing in the fountain that's interesting to me. The following example is going to be a great representation of 2 of the things I just talked about: the center camera on respawn and also teleport requires hold stop. In this case, I am dead. This is my camera view, and I know that my Ricky is about to be dove, and I'm just going to respawn. I know that there's Skywrath ult, so I want to grave him. So I already clicked grave on him. And if Ricky had gotten a little bit lower, that would have been a great opportunity for me to land a really well-timed grave. Now, thankfully, he wasn't anywhere close to dying, so it was okay. But you get the idea. If the camera had panned back to the fountain, I would not have been able to TP as quickly. So it's useful in a lot of different cases, but especially when you're trying to save a teammate that's being dove under tower, having those 2 settings makes it really, really useful. Camera speed is a little tricky because it's not as simple as making it the quicker the better. And the reason for that is in the early game, you're not going to need to move the camera as fast. In the late game, you're really going to have to move the camera quicker over the rest of the map, especially during team fights. So finding something that you can control, but is quick enough to be able to move screens really quickly, because a lot of times in team fights you're going to be looking at your hero, you're going to be looking at some hero that's a couple blink distances away. So being able to control the camera but also having it quick enough where you can take a look at big team fights all at the same time is going to be really important. In terms of the minimap, I would recommend using an extra large minimap. All the other options, I think I leave it up to the personal preference of each person. I like to have the actual hero logos on here. because I need to be able to glance at it and understand where heroes are. So I don't want to have to read a word down here. I would rather see an icon and know that, for example, Wraith King just showed top. And I think that is it for this video. Hope you guys learned something, and good luck in your next games as Dazzle.